All right, it is great to see you back. Thank you. It's great to see you back. Life does throw a lot of changes at us, and to help us out with that, I thought it would be kind of fun to stroll down memory lane about how some of your small group leaders looked when they were in high school. So let's see if you can recognize who some of these people are. Can we look at the first picture, please? Dalton. Can you tell who that is? That is Aaron, who leads our junior and senior guys. And he's about half the man there. He's like a big dude now. All right, let's look at the next one. Yeah, that also is Aaron. No, that's a lie. No, that's Megan. I told her she literally looks the same to me. Except for she might be a half inch shorter, which if so, that's sad. We love you a lot, Megan. All right, next one. Isn't that hair the best? That hair is awesome. And poor Aiden is dying right now. I'm sorry, bro. All right, we got another one. And some of you are like, same. Just looks like stud. Was taken yesterday. It's good, right? Yeah. All right, do we have one more? I looked at this at first and literally thought it was Zachary Wilkerson. That's who I thought it was. And then I realized it was Sky. Or, Sky, there's so many things I want to say right now, but I'm restraining myself. But if any of us, but here's the thing. That's what these guys that love you, that spend time with you, that pray for you, that pour into you, this is what they looked like when they were in high school. How many of you are shocked to think that the school year is half over? Isn't that insane? It's crazy to me that it's half over. See, here's the thing that I have learned is that the way life speeds up, the quicker it goes past you. That's just what happens. But here's the thing, life changes. That's just the nature of life. And as some of you are looking at this new year, you're having to ask yourself a big question, is what do you see coming? What is it that you see coming? See, here's some of the things that I was thinking about as I was just being really honest about different times that I've looked at different years. Some of us see this as a legit reset. Like it's like, okay, there's some things that I would change, there's some things that I like to get better, but all this is a reset. It's just a legit reset. Some of you see it as the beginning of an ending. In fact, if you're a senior, for some of you, this is the beginning of an ending, if I'm just really honest right now. For some of you juniors who know exactly what you're doing and exactly where you're going, for some of you, the rest of this school year might be the beginning of an ending, where you understand that you are actually in the beginning of an ending with January of 2019, and you understand that. And so you're actually not even thinking about starting, you're actually thinking about how you're starting your ending. That's kind of an interesting way of viewing it, isn't it? For some of you, it's that you need a complete restart. Like if you are completely honest, 2018 was as close to hell as you ever want to get, and you can't wait for you to gain as much distance from it as possible. And if you're really honest with yourself, that's how you feel about it. It was either because of a bad coach experience or a bad teaching experience or bad choices that you made or toxic relationships that tainted your year. And if you're really honest, you can't wait to get more space from anything that has a 1 and an 8 in it for at least the next 10 years. And here's the last one. Here's the one that some of us might be, and this is the one that's a little harder to talk about. And it's that you actually really liked this last year. And you're actually a little nervous or a little scared about what's in front of you. And if you're really, really honest, you're a little worried about what might be coming next. And you're not 100% sure what to do with it. Now, if I'm really honest, I actually have a mixture of that feeling and the reset feeling for my 2019. If I'm just really honest. I actually have a little bit of fear that I'm trying to navigate through. Because here's what happens. We tend to fear things that we don't completely able to control or understand or predict. And those are the things that we tend to want to do with our lives. And for you control freaks out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So one of the things I also want to do is we have a chance to think about through a reset right now. is I actually want to do something while I have so many of you together at one time to just have a really honest conversation. One of the things that I think I've done a poor job of, that I want to try to do a better job of right now, and that's that as we have the opportunity to look at what a reset is, we just have an honest conversation of why on earth do we come together for a moment like this? Why do we do this? Why do we come together? You guys are so stinking busy. You have a ton of pressures hanging over your head and a ton of options of how to fill your time. You have a ton of people pulling at you and a ton of options of how to fill your times, your calendars, your schedules, and a lot of options about what to do next. And so just to be really, really blunt and really, really honest, I've put myself in your shoes and I've thought, you know what? As somebody who really cares for you, I don't know that I've done a great job of telling you why. And I want to fix that. So I want you to bear with me for the next 2 or 3 minutes. You have a ton of pressure and you have a chorus of voices. And I want to help you feel and hear Jesus for yourself. That's one of the biggest things, that if I could just be really honest right now, I want to help you be able to feel the presence of God in your life, recognize his voice amongst the many, and hear him for yourself. To know how deeply he cares for you, how clearly he wants to help you and be involved in your everyday regular life. I want that so badly for you. I want to help you be able to hear and feel Jesus clearly. Here's the next one. And as I was praying for you over Christmas break, this is the language I felt like God gave me as we look for 2019, is I want to genuinely help you be your best and bring someone with. I genuinely want to help you be that. Because as I've been praying for you, one of the things that I keep coming back to is that at a base value, I believe every one of us in this room genuinely wants to be our best. Now, all of us have different ideas about what that might look like, but all of us want to be our best. And here's what else I know about you, that you want to make a difference on the world around you. And so I don't want to blow sunshine at you and create this false reality of something for you to do or something that feels unreachable or unteachable. So I thought I would make it very attainable and containable. And that's this, not only to be your best, but to bring someone with. And who is that someone that you could bring with to help them be their best? Who could it be? If each and every one of us in this room just sought to be our best and to bring even one person with in helping them bring their best, think about the difference that we could make on our teams, in our clubs, in our classrooms, at our schools. Think about the difference that we could make in this church and in this city and in the surrounding areas if we just tried to be our best and bring someone with. And I firmly believe that the very best way to do that isn't just improving your backswing, your stance, your positioning, your reps. I believe that the very best way for you to be your best is to literally connect you with the power of God coursing through your life, able to see him and hear him more clearly. That is what centers you and helps you be your best. Because I believe that if you have a true north in all circumstances and you have something that helps bring you back to earth when things get crazy, that's gonna help you in literally every circumstance, whether you're on a field, on a stage, on a court, or any other place of performance, competition, or anything else. I want you to be your best, and here's something just to be really blunt. Now, of course, it comes to the part where I ask you what I want from you. And here's what I'd like from you. I would like you to do your very best to be around here as much as you can be, so that I can help you be your best and feel and hear Jesus clearly. I want that for you for your small group leader. I want that for you to help you be a better son or daughter at home. I want that for you to help you start your week, because some of you have crazy weeks that are starting in 12 hours. Some of you have crazy seasons that are starting in 12 hours. And I want to be part of what helps you and doesn't hinder you. I don't want you to see this rhythm or my name pop up on your phone or my face pop up in a hallway or in a mall and for you to feel guilt or frustration. Instead, I want you to feel excitement that you have one more person in your life that you know is for you, regardless of what's going on in your life. Whether I see you at a game, whether I see you on the street, wherever it is. Your small group leader is the same way. I want to help you be your best. Because here's what I know, that we need each other here to help anchor and center us. The biggest epidemics right now that I'm seeing is I'm seeing loneliness, I'm seeing dark thoughts, I'm seeing anxiety, and I'm seeing suicide. And all of these things, when they're at their worst and loudest in our lives, is when we feel the furthest from other humans that care for us. We can be in a crowded room full of other people, but feel completely alone and lonely if we feel disconnected from people who care for us. I'd like to narrow that gap together. And that just comes from us spending more time together. It can be scary, it can be frustrating, it can be intimidating and overwhelming, but here again is what I know, that life changes, but God doesn't. And so I thought it would be really cool if we took a few moments to be reminded of how God feels about us. Because now here's the interesting thing. In religion, this is the easy thing to fall back to. A lot of us love for ways to control things. So like for me in my car, the thing I try to control is I try to control two things. I try to control the temperature and the music. Anybody feeling me at all? Yes? All right, it's fair. How many of you would be even okay with 1 out of 2? You can grab blankets or whatever. As long as you can control the music, you're good. You're 1 out of 2. How many of you, you're like, they can play whatever music they want, but if I'm freezing, no bueno. Anybody like that? Okay. How about food choices? How many of you are really picky eaters and you'd prefer to control where and what you eat at any given time because you're a picky eater? We're always looking for little ways to control. Little ways to control. It's one of the reasons why sometimes you'll see people that are going through really big, crazy life circumstances, like the loss of a loved one or something like that, and they'll make kind of an extreme decision. They'll like get a big weird tattoo, or they'll do something crazy with their hair, or they'll change their style, or they'll spend a bunch of money on something. These are people that are looking to take control in their lives. I don't know if you knew this, but religion actually has quite a tradition of using lists to control people. And here's the reason why. The reason why is because a list is controllable from people to people. Lists in religion try to control our spirituality. They try to guarantee us a certain way of being seen by God if we follow a certain list of behavioral patterns. You can look at that throughout history. You can look at it in the darker, less proud moments of our people in Christianity, in virtually every other religion in the world. That if you follow a list, you control the list, you can do what you want. But this is what I know. In our faith, love in relationship looks to connect us in our spirituality. So here's a cool passage. And what I've done is I've kind of picked out the spots that God most clearly says who we are. In Isaiah chapter 43, verses 1 through 5, it's a mixture of prophecy and reality of where God's people were at this time in their reality. But I love what God says about how he feels about us. Let me read these words over you. And if you want to go back and read this for yourself or take a picture of it, this is a beautiful way to remember how God is for you. The one who never changes feels about you. The one who formed you says, do not be afraid, for I have ransomed you, which means I would be willing to pay money for you. I have called you by name, you are mine. When you go through deep waters, I'll be with you. When you go through rivers of difficulty, you will not drown. When you go through rivers of difficulty, you will not drown. That's you and me. When you walk through the fire of oppression, when you feel like people are coming against you and you can't win, you won't be burnt up. The flames won't consume you because you're precious to me. You're honored and I love you. And then look at that last line. Do not be afraid, for I'm with you. If you're looking for more, in Hebrews chapter 13, he promises he'll never fail us, and he'll never abandon us. In Hebrews 13:8, we read that Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And so if we remember that he doesn't change, and this is how he feels about us, I want to encourage you to walk with bounce in your step and a true north in your soul. And I got 3 ideas as we wrap up our time together, because tonight's a little bit different than a typical night. Here's the first one. I want to encourage you to come and follow him. At the end of the book of John, Jesus is talking with the disciples after he has died and risen again. And Peter's having a conversation with him on the seaside and is asking about this other guy, well, what's he gonna do? And Peter says, no, you don't worry about him. You come follow me. Don't worry about what other people are thinking. Don't worry about what other people are saying. Don't worry about what they're about, but you come follow me. And that's what I want to encourage you to do. When you have to make a hard choice this year, I want you to choose to follow him with what that choice is. Is this a choice that brings honor to your daddy in heaven who loves you and never changes? Or is this something that makes relationship a little awkward with him? Next one, give him your burdens. Jesus says in Matthew 11:28, come to me, all you who are weary, which means like really tired, and carry heavy burdens, which means that you have things that you're worried about, things that stress you out, things that make you feel tense. And he makes a promise. He says, I'll give you rest. One of the things I've tried to get in the habit of is every night before I go to bed and every morning when I wake up, I try to pray. And it helps. I give him what weighs down my soul. And then third, make your schedule regularly centered with him and an us. We all need an us. Part of the us is here, PTSM, your small group, your FCA group, people that'll help you be a stronger you, people who will bring out the very best in you as a human, not just as a cheerleader or an athlete or as a performer or as an academic, but you as a human who helps you bring out your best. In Luke 9:23, Jesus says it really clearly. He says, take up your cross daily and follow me. It's a regular habit of choosing to connect with him and follow the direction he leads you. And sometimes it's awkward and comfortable. It's part of what mission trips is. And I want to challenge you in 2019, make that daily decision. There's a famous quote that for years I've been given credit to the wrong person with by thinking it came from leadership guru John Maxwell. And instead, it actually is given credit for originating with Albert Einstein. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but looking to get a different result. My heart for you in 2019 is that you will literally be your best that you've been so far, and that you will embrace a permanent God who does not change, who is for you and not against you, and that you will make some kind of steps forward in your part of doing your best to be your best. And so here's what I want you to be thinking about as we walk out of here tonight. If you know this, if you're in any part of competition, but you're always looking to make adjustments. I was a coach for years, and I told my players all the time, some of you heard this ad nauseam at this point, is you can only control your controllables. But part of being a great coach and being a great teammate and team member and competitor is you're also looking to make adjustments. And so for you this year, I want to give you a very simple challenge. I want you to think of something that you want to add to your life this year. What is one thing that you need to add to your life this year for you to be your best? One thing. And I want to encourage you to think deeper than, oh, I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to shave 5 seconds off my time. Come on, man. I want you to think deeper than that. I want you to think deeper than trying to up your test score by 12 points. I want you to think about yourself as a human, as somebody who is lovable and loving, as someone who is the center of some people's lives because you're that precious and wonderful to us. What could you add to your life to be better in 2018? What's one thing you could add? And then number two, it's kind of the flip-flop of that. What's one thing that you could subtract for 2019? Something that was maybe a bigger deal in 2018 than maybe it really should have been. What's something, and again, I want you to think deeper. I don't want you to think, well, I'm not gonna drink any soda in 2019. No. I want you to think deeper than that, okay? Think deeper than that. What would help you be a better human in 2019? A better son, a better daughter, a better friend, a better BFF, a better boyfriend, a better girlfriend, a better teammate, a better classmate, a better brother, a better sister. What's one thing that you could add to your life to be better in 2019, and what's one thing that you could subtract? And then we're gonna do something really cool. When you go to your small groups, I want you to use this as ammunition to love each other, get to know each other, and pray for each other. Because here's the cool thing. If you and me each know the one thing that we want to add to our lives this year to make ourselves better, and the one thing we want to subtract to our lives to make each other better, we immediately know how to pray for each other. Did you know that? We immediately know how to support each other. We immediately know how to make each other better if we know those two truths. And in your small group, I want to encourage you to open up about that as much as you're comfortable with. And then at the end of your small group time, you're going to come outside. We're going to have fire pits going. We're going to have some s'mores available. And what I want you to do is I want you to take your subtract card and I want you to put it in the fire. Because I don't want you to be reminded of your failures other than to fill your prayers. But as far as your add, I'd like for you to keep that card and put it somewhere where you're going to see it and read it and have it be part of your values and the direction that you're living. Well, I'm going to pray for you, and then we're going to kick you out because I'm a few minutes over. God, thank you so much that we can come to you, that you never change. Thank you that you are for us and not against us, and that that's been your heart since before we were born, and it'll be your heart for us when we're in your presence. Lord, I pray that each person in this room would feel your loving touch, that they would grow in their ability to recognize your voice amongst the many. I pray for those that feel distant from you, that they would feel closer to you. I pray for those that feel a little bit of fear for this year, that they would see ways they can trust you a little bit more. I pray for those that might feel a little stuck, that you would help them dream about what this year could hold for them. I pray for those that are excited. Would you help them narrow their focus to be able to chase the right thing with the right energy? And I pray that you would guide and lead these conversations, that they would be something that would bring you glory, and they would be something that would make us better. And I pray that this year would be better than the year before, and that we would keep getting better as we look to you to help us be our best. We love you, and we pray you have your way in us. In Jesus' name, amen.